Thank you. Okay, so we're going to be learning about 2.5 today, okay? In your Google Classroom on your week at glance, I said 2.4, but I forgot that was last week. So this can be 2.5, all right? And then it's going to be like we're going to continue from slopes, except we're going to be talking about point slope, okay? So that's going to be the topic of today. Okay, so this is going to be the rest of slope that we are going to cover, I believe, for the whole year. So, who can tell me when we learned last week, okay, what was our slope-intercept form? Yeah. Yeah, y equals mx plus b, okay? Let's say we were given coordinates of -2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, what was the formula that we used to solve and find slope? Yeah, Rebecca? Perfect. y2 minus y1 minus x2 minus x1. Okay, so for plugging this in, who can tell me how we plug this in? Yeah, Julian? Over. Okay, so what's on top? What's 8 minus 4? What's 6 minus -2? 8. Okay, and then we got to simplify, so what's that going to look like? So our slope would be 1/2. Okay, perfect. Now, one thing that we're going to continue with for this slope-intercept form is sometimes we're going to have to be told how do we plug this into our slope-intercept form with just points. Okay, so we had just these points right here, all right, and we just found our slope. Now, who can remember how we can solve for b? How do we solve for b? Yeah. No, not quite. Yeah, Rebecca? We need to figure out b into our formula right here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we got to pick one of the set of coordinates. So let's pick 6, 8. Okay, so how can we plug this in to solve for b when we put it in our slope-intercept form? Okay? Yeah, 8 equals 1/2 because that's the slope that we just found. All right, and then we need to plug in our x, so that's going to be 6 plus b. Okay, so we have 8 equals, what's 1/2 times 6? 3 plus b, then what do we got to do with the 3? Subtract it over. Okay, so b equals what? 5. All right, then let's put it in our slope-intercept form. So what's our slope-intercept form going to be? Yep. Well, yes, but with the answers that we have. Yeah, Tanner? 1/2 x plus 5. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the only step that we are adding today is, like last week you were given just one set of coordinates and the slope. Well, this time you're given two sets of coordinates and you have to find the slope first and then use one of those coordinates to solve and put it into that y equals mx plus b form. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. All right, you'll also have questions today. Let's see. You guys can you see the lines pretty well, or the grid, the boxes on here? Okay, so let's say that we are given a slope that's going to look like this. Okay, and what we need to do is we just need to, based on this line, is we need to just put it into our slope-intercept form. Okay, so the first thing that we need to recognize is we need to find our slope based on this line, and we need to find our b. Okay, so where exactly is it crossing our y-intercept? Yeah, just say it out loud. 1. Yeah, it's crossing right here, okay, at 1. Okay, so we know our b will equal 1. All right, now we need to find our slope, our rise over run. Okay, so what is, who can identify what our rise over run is? Yeah. It's going to be a fraction. Well, yes, but what's the value? Yeah. So our slope, our m, is going to be, it goes up 2, and it goes over 3. Okay, so how can we put this in our y equals mx plus b? Yeah. Plus 1. Okay. Seem pretty easy? It's pretty simple. Okay, so you just need to identify that slope. So it just goes, I change the color here. All right, it just goes up 2 over 3. Okay, and that's how we identify right there. All right, and if you look over here, okay, it goes up 2 over 3. All right, so that's the only parts that are continuing with our slope intercept form. So now let's talk about our point slope form. Okay. Does anyone happen to know what our point slope form is? Not quite. That's the standard form. We haven't learned this yet. It's going to be y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So this is going to be point slope form. Okay? So one of the beginning parts is just going to be, let's say you are given the coordinates, okay, 3, 6, and your slope is 2. Okay? We just got to plug it into our equation. Okay? So right here, our 3 is going to be our x1. Our 6 is going to be our y1. All right? And we're just plugging that into the equation. Okay? So we need to leave our y and our x alone that do not have the 1s. Okay? So when we plug this in, we're going to have our y minus, what's our y1 going to be? 6 equals, what's our m? 2, because that's our slope, x minus 3. Okay? It's going to be just that simple. All right, so then what if, let's say I gave you negative 7 to slope equals 1/3. Okay, what about this one? Who can start it off for me? Yeah. Okay, and when you have this, you have to simplify. Okay, so if you're plugging this into an you're in as an equation, okay, you have to make, instead of minus negative 7, you have to change it to x plus 7. Okay, and then this would be your correct formula. All right. Now with point slope form, okay, we're also going to have to solve equations that are going to look like this. Let's say we have negative 2, negative 4, 6, and 8. Okay, we need to find the slope and then put it into point slope form. So for this one, okay, how are we going to plug this in to solve for our slope? Yeah, Tanner? Yeah, we had to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So who can tell me, someone else, tell me how we're going to plug this in? Yeah, Rebecca? Perfect. Okay. So what's 8 minus negative 4? 12, because we're going to end up adding. And then 6 minus negative 2? 8. All right, how can we simplify this? 3 over 2. Okay. All right, and then, okay, we got our slope. Now, how do we put this into slope or point slope form? Yeah. Yeah, we got to pick a coordinate. You can use either coordinate. Let's use our negative 2, negative 4. Okay, but if you use 6, 8, all right, it'll accept either answer. So what is this going to look like if we use negative 2, negative 4? What's our point slope form going to look like? Yeah? Perfect. So she already changed our minus negative numbers to plus, okay? Because it should have been y minus negative 4 here and x minus negative 2 here. All right, but she already changed them to plus, so that's perfect. And then this would be our point slope form, okay? Does everyone see where we got that? All right, so biggest thing is you have to find that slope first, all right? And then you plug it into your equation, all right? If you also got y minus 6 equals 3 over 2 x minus 8, all right, it would, oops, I switched my 6 and 8, sorry. All right, it would accept that as well. Okay? And yep, and that's point slope form. All right? We didn't do much with this today. And just giving you a heads up, okay? Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to be doing a lot of problems together because starting tomorrow, we're going to look at proofs. All right? So maybe this next week is not going to be your favorite thing, okay? But it's something we got to cover, okay? So I'm just making sure. We'll try to get your homework done today, because I'm going to give you plenty of time in class to work on it. But when we get in those proofs, make sure you're taking notes, because it's going to kind of become, if you keep doing it and it becomes a repetitive process, then you'll feel better about it. Okay, so that's going to be it for point slope. All right, I'll let you use the rest of class to work on homework.